Hello guys, welcome to my channel for a new battle report, another practice game with my Ogre Khan. Still looking for the perfect list to bring to the ETC in Serbia this year with my Ogre Khan. So I was playing against Shizu from the channel Blackwood, maybe you know him, playing Demon Legion. So my list with some small tweaks, basically I think I was playing Tribesman. I don't remember exactly if I was playing Bruiser or Tribesman, but I went for big brick with 2x3 guys nearby, so some darts, and then I switched the hunter for the Yetis basically, and also I included some trappers because what I figured out when playing against Coco was the type of list with a light cavalry that can vanguard and then chaff your entire army can be problematic for this type of list of Ogre Khan. And that's why I wanted something to slow this down, or to just block it with some scout and vanguard stuff. And also I think the traps are really nice for the points. It's an early chaff in the game, can create some openings early on, so yeah, I wanted to try that out. My opponent was playing the following list. Basically you have a big courtesan master of witchcraft with resilience 6, a double hard target, then he has a sentinel Master Evo with the breast weapon, unnatural roots, and the guiding mirrored scale, 20 Myrmidon, 13 Lemurs, 10 Imps, the Engine of Damnation, Orb Harvester, 1 Legend Treasure Chariot, 2x2 Gremlins, 3 Bloodflies, and 5 Furies. We are playing again, I think it was a similar setup as we played with Coco. I think the same map, Frontline, Spoil of War, so funny to play that again. We just rolled randomly on Warhol and I didn't figure out that it was probably the same. And yeah, below you have the spell selection. I think a small mistake on my part. Instead of Hereditary, I think I should have picked, or instead of Break the Spirit, most likely, I should have picked the Totemic Beast. I don't know, I didn't analyze properly what was going to happen regarding the aggressivity, who was going at who, and I think Totemic Summon could have been slightly better. And it's always an annoying spell to face. So yeah, my opponent has a strong magical setup. I have to keep the Binding Scroll for close combat because he hasn't so many combat buff, meaning if I can block the right one at the right time, it could be key. He has a slow number of drops, so I was quite eager to counter deploy and optimize my position, especially the shooter position. He has a very high number of chaff, 2 chaff popping from the floor on turn 2, so I need to keep in mind what he can do with those chaff. Bruiser need to be careful. I already had some bad experience against Myrmidon in 1-on-1 fight, so I need to be careful. Those 2 blocks could be some dicey combat for me, and aren't impacted at all by the new build that I have on the Great Khan, meaning the Kingslayer and the Ligatong. And yeah, then use my agility tricks. I have the Frost Mammoth, I have the Yetis to deal with the Myrmidon basically. If I can charge them with Yetis or use the Frost in combination with Mercenaries, for example, I should be fine. Deployment, so my opponent decided to give me the bottom part, and then I decided to let him start to drop, and he decided to drop everything for turn 1. He put his Myrmidon here, Imps, Flies, Sentinel within the Lemurs, Engine, Sibaresh, Furies, the Chariot. And I put the following: Yetis vanguarding on the left, Trappers here, trying to, yeah, bait him to charge me, Bruiser as a support unit playing. I decided to play for all 3 Spoil of War because I thought that might be interesting, especially on this flank. If he decided to go straight here with the Chariot to support and threaten my flank, basically that could mean a free spoil for me and could be annoying for him. And if you want to deal with my scoring unit here, my cheap scoring of Tribesman, then he will spend a lot of turn to catch me. So that was, I think, really interesting to do. And basically is not threatened by range damage, so no leadership issue here. Then we have Mercenaries with the BSB and the Shaman here. Cat all the way in the back to avoid to get sniped turn 1. Then we have the Frost Cannon and the Bruiser block with the Great Khan here on the left. Demon turn 1, so my opponent decided to hide Sibaresh from my cannon. Pushes with the Chariot slightly on the left, but still looking at my Tribesman. Yeah, I should have been half a inch below. He couldn't have been able to shoot at me. He was just able to be within 18, so I wasn't too careful here. I move with the Sentinel forward, reposition the chaff, and decide he figured out, oh, this is a pretty strong left flank for me. He decided he needs some support to be sure he can win the flank and then probably win this spoil. So he brought the flies here up to the left. In the magic phase, he did total 2 wounds with 2 spells on my Frost Mammoth, the 2 snipe from evocation basically. And then I dispel Hereditary to avoid taking some other wounds, but he was able to get Twisted Effigy against my mercenaries, which hurts a lot. And then with some shots, he was able to do 1 wound to the bruisers, shots from the engine. My turn 1. So yeah, if you analyze the situation, I was able to chaff with them, basically put a trap here and chaff the Myrmidon. So I just figured out Sibaresh in this position, if he can't charge these 2 units, then it's not a lot of combat power in the middle, so I'm able to push. These guys cannot shoot, so they can march freely, so I decide to push forward with bows, creating a situation where I will be aggressive against his center, forcing Sibaresh, instead of moving around or behind my lines, basically to react and come as a support pieces, which is what I want. And I just made sure by putting the Frost a bit below, just to cover in case you want to take a position here. He could be scared of the impact hits and the strength 6 attack, maybe. This guy is just reformed, 3 wide, and I reposition the small cat far away from his snipes, because I know that at some point I might need to chaff him. And here on the left, yeah, I just move slightly my Yetis, just waiting for him to take the bait, and I move forward with the bruiser as well. In the magic phase, I cast Swarm of Insect against the engine, did nothing. I put Break the Spirit against the flies. Cannon did 1 wound against the engine, and then with shooting from the trappers I did 1 wound on the Myrmidon. His turn 2, he decided to go with the flies, despite the Break the Spirit. He wanted to deal with them, so he charged me. I stand and shoot, okay. He lose a lot of wounds between the traps, Break the Spirit from different type of trains, so that was nice. And then he popped 2-time Gremlins. I wasn't too careful here. I checked what he could do with the Furies to chaff both. I made sure to put enough distance, but I forgot the fact that I thought that both Gremlin have to be within 6, and instead it's only have to touch, but it can be much further away. He is within 6 of the Shaman, so I could have just put the Shaman here on the left and then I would have been fine, so that was a bit stupid for me. And then, as expected, just positioned these guys on my flank to threaten my flank, and just backed off slightly with them, just in case I take a charge with the Frost, try to irresistible. So yeah, that's it. In the magic phase, he got -1 resilience leadership against them. I tried to put the D3 snipe against my Ogre Khan, I dispel it. And then he's able to do 3 wounds total against the Frost. 1 wound with a snipe, 2 wounds with Hereditary. With shooting, the imps did 3 wounds against my mercenaries. And then the engine, yeah, it was a perfect position here. I'm chaff, short range, no movement needed. He did 5 wounds to my bruisers, which was kind of expected. Close combat, he one-shot me, and instead of staying here and giving me some possibilities to charge and then bump against second unit, he decided to overrun forward to create a situation where I need to deal with him. So yeah, that was his decision. My turn 2, I charge with my bruiser against the 2 remaining flies. They have 7 wounds left total. I move the Yetis, they failed the march, I guess. Yeah, they failed the 8 rerollable to march, which was kind of unfortunate, but no big harm here. I just move still out of arc on the flank just to threaten Myrmidon, and I bring the Kinita in the back just to be in a situation where if I can charge him, block him, or combo charge, he can be in a bad spot. And here basically I have 3 threats that should be against 1, and I just made sure my Yetis can still see the flies. If anything doesn't go well, I can support next turn. Both these blocks decide to back off. It was not interesting to charge and then get counter charge, so just move back with them. Move back as well with the Frost to be as far away as possible from his magic, but still be useful later on. And these guys, they just turn around and face these 2 because I cannot afford taking one of these in the flank, so I just face them. I know that he's going to move out of my arc. Nothing I can do here, but I still need to face them to avoid getting big charges. And it's an 11 swift ride with them against my flank. Yeah, could be very annoying, but I don't think he will risk it. These guys just march forward to threaten the flank of the chariot, and I brought the cat to chaff next turn if needed. Cannon just turn around to shoot, and that was it. In the magic phase, I got +1 resilience on the bruiser block in case you want to charge. Then I got a nice swarm of insects. My opponent was a bit greedy on the dispel roll and failed that, and I got 4 wounds off with swarm of insects. Very nice. Then he dispel, break the spirit on the flies. And with my cannon I shot at the engine, but he was able to pass the ward save. But then the mercenaries just finished the 2 remaining wounds and killed the engine. So that was very, very nice. Close combat, I did 3 to him, he did 2 to me. I basically killed the champion and win, and he lose another 2 wounds with combat results. So that was very nice. His turn 3. So he decided to put everything here on the right out of my arc, as I expected. So the chariot moved behind the hill, I can't see him, facing my tribesman, giving me a 8 on 2 dice. Then he moves Sibaresh to support the left flank that is slowly collapsing. Backs a little bit the Myrmidon, just protect the flank of the imps. That was smartly done to avoid the Kinitor charging the imps. And he uses them again to chaff my mercenaries. Here it's in combat. In the magic phase, he got, and he passed the mark check on the 8 with no reroll with Sibaresh to come here. In the magic phase, I dispel, reroll to wound. He get an hereditary against my frost, but he fails to wound this time, luckily for me. And then he got Twisted Effigy, which is annoying on them. I was really eager to shoot on short range against Sibaresh, but yeah, he got that off. And also he got random movement against the bruiser, so that was kind of stupid for me because he put reroll to wound on the Myrmidon, and I thought I really want to get the combo charge here, plus also the bruiser. That's really nice, let's try to get that. Then I dispel that spell, and with the rest basically put random movement here, and then no shoot here, and debuff 2 times the movement of them, and now the charge is too long for me to take. It's like a 9 or 10 Swift Stride. If I fail, I'm fucked. So basically that was a bad decision of dispelling for me. I should have let reroll to wound, decide later on if I want to take the triple charge, if I'm able to, and then dispel other stuff like I want to shoot with them at Sibaresh at short range. So that was really bad decision here. Close combat, I killed the fly, reform, and then we move on to my turn 3. So my turn 3, I took the charge with tribesman on 8, but I fail. I used the cat to chaff. And then here I decided to create another threat, basically by moving the Khan out of the unit, Great Khan, just to threaten his back line. So now I have 2 models in his back line, and I decided there is no big value added at this moment to have everything in the same unit, so I just move him out, just turn around Bruiser, turn this guy around as well, move out of Arc of Sibaresh, just make sure there is nothing too scary for them, and yeah, we'll see what he does. Random movement, I move away with the Spoil of War. These guys, they, with the debuff of movement, just move slightly back. At the moment I'm just concerned to protect my flag, and these guys, they just move on the flag just to make sure I can keep that one. So I should be fine with scenario, but we'll see. Continue to back off the frost with 1 wound remaining, might be useful later on. The chariot just pivot to have a nice shot on a 5-up because of R target 2 on Sibaresh. On the map, and yeah, just move away with the Kinitor just to make sure I can keep my option open. I can block this unit, I can get the imps, or try to block the Myrmidon as well, so I have plenty of option for later on. In the magic phase, I try to put Swarm of Insect on Sibaresh, he dispelled that, and then he dispelled also another bounce spell, so I got nothing off. Cannon, I got a 1-2 wound on Sibaresh, unfortunately. These guys cannot shoot, so nothing else this turn. His turn 4. No, yeah, he charged the chaff with the chariot, uses them to chaff my Great Khan, turn around to snipe me, uses this to double chaff me, which is well done by him, and then he charged with Sibaresh on a 10 Swift Stride, I guess, on the flank. I failed the terror on the 8 rollable, so I got no decision to make here, but I think I would have fled just to make sure it cannot create some panic on the Yetis, so I just fled that one with the terror check. And he moved this guy forward, ready to face me and far away from the Kinitor, just to make sure that I get a one-on-one situation. So that's what he's trying to bait me for. In the magic phase, my opponent gets reroll to wound on the chariot, but I dispel that one because I really want a fair fight for my tribesman. Then he does the snipe, 1 wound to my general, another wound with a second snipe, but yeah, that's not too problematic for me at this point of time. And then he tried to put the fly move on them to go out of my arc, but I dispelled that one. Shooting, he does 2 wounds to my Kinitor, which is slightly annoying before combat. My turn 4, this Keen Eater charge with 2 wounds remaining against the imps. These guys, they just move out of arc. For the moment, yeah, this guy fled, they dropped the flag, they rally, but for the moment I'm pretty happy with the fact that he need to take risk to claim that spot. And then if he does that, if I'm able to charge him, I should be fine, so I'm okay. At the moment I have 1 flag here, so I still have plenty of options. These guys, they charge, I know that I will need to support them, that's why I move the mage here in the unit to just buff them. And the chariot is in position for another shot with no cover, and yeah, that's it. In the magic phase, I got, what was that? Swarm of Insect against Sibaresh. He dispelled that, then I tried to put +1 strengths, but I failed. I was trying to put that on the tribesman, I failed, and then I was able to get break the spirit on the chariot, which is nice. With shooting of mercenaries veteran, I'm able to do 1 wound against Sibaresh, and then close combat, I do 4 wounds to him. He did 1 to me, but passes his leadership check steadfast. And here I did 2 wounds total, he did nothing to me, but passes as well the steadfast check. His turn 5, I tried to double charge me. This is a dicey fight, them against me, especially since I wasn't in a front of 4 in 4 row, I was only in 3, and that's kind of not enough attack to face him. So because of that bad formation, I think I put me in trouble, but luckily for me, he failed the 8 swift ride to get me, so only them goes, and then yeah, I'm in a good position now. These guys, they turn around to face me. And Sibaresh comes here to block my mercenaries to charge the lemures because he's scared of that combat, which makes sense. And yeah, before those 2 charges, he charged out with the furies to free up some space and charge out against the cannon. In the magic phase, I binding scroll, reroll to wound, but then with 4 dice against 5 for me, he still got a random movement against them, which is, it's kind of very annoying because I was in a position to, most likely I will kill them in 1 go, and then I'm free to charge against the lemures with Sentinel, and I should be totally okay. So that was, I think, a big mistake for me. I should have used Binding Scroll against that spell. So yeah, I got punished here, he got random movement on me, and I will need a 9 on 2 dice to get to him, so that's almost impossible. And then to add some salt on the wound, he was able with 2 dice against 3 to get a Raven's Wing for them, to be on the token and then claim a tie on the objective, so that's very, very annoying. Close combat, the cannon did 3 wounds to the furies, he did 1 to me, but he sticks. And here on the right, I did 2 wounds to him, he did 1 to me, but he sticks as well, so that's kind of annoying. And here I think we both did almost nothing this turn, and obviously I kill in 1 go the gremlins. Mine turn 5, so at least now I thought, oh, let's correct the mistake and reform, because it's random movement, I don't care if I'm change the situation, I can still charge with random movement. So I just reform forward and move forward, but I wasn't able to get the 9. I moved the BSB out of the unit as a counter charger, just making sure if he goes against me I have a counter charge, and also that the BSB doesn't get challenged out by Sibaresh, and the mercenaries veteran are facing their fate against Sibaresh. Here I got double charge off. It was a 7 swift ride with them, very important to get that, so I was able to get it. And then the bruiser joined them to deal with them because they have secondary at the moment, which is annoying. And here we're still in combat, here as well, and here as well. In the magic phase, I got hereditary on them just to make sure, because if I lose this fight and the chariot is able to go on my flank, I mean, that could be a nightmare for me. So I make sure I win this combat by putting hereditary on. Then I fail break the spirit, I'm able to get +1 strength on them. And mercenaries with shooting did another wound to Sibaresh, so he has 4 wounds left. Close combat, I kill 1 fury, but he passed the test, all good. I think this time I killed the chariot. The Yetis, he's steadfast, but I kill a lot of them, so I should be fine. And then the imps, I killed 2, he did 1 wound to me. Yeah, that's it. No, he actually killed the Keen Eater. Yeah, he killed the Keen Eater with the imps, which was kind of unexpected. He did the 2 remaining wounds in 1 go and killed me. So yeah, these things happen. So he countercharged with the imps, tried to add some attacks, but that will not be enough against the nasty Yetis that can go first because of the nice position of the Frost, who still had a role to play in the later stage. And yeah, I couldn't do anything to really stop that because of the random move of them and the fact that they needed to chaff Sibaresh, but he was able to get the Sentinel on the flank, Sibaresh in the front. So that will cost me mercenaries, which are worth a lot. At the same time, I can threaten his guy with plenty of poison attack, and then these guys are going to get the secondary first of all and kill the lemurs as well. So yeah, it's not perfect trade-off, but I couldn't do really anything to avoid that. In his magic phase, let me check what he got. So Sentinel, it was a 6 to get in my flank, and the imps were on a 7 to charge me. He got reroll to wound against them. He got also -1 toughness and leadership. Couldn't do anything to avoid that. And then I dispelled the automatic health point against my frost because I really wanted him alive to kill the Myrmidon before they can attack me. Close combat, yeah, I kill Myrmidon. He passes steadfast with them, so he's still alive, but we will fight another turn. And then this combat here, he did 8 wounds to me total. I did 2 wounds to Sibaresh, so he has 2 wounds left, and he passes 3 ward save with him, so nothing to him. So yeah, okay, he catches me, and then I have a last turn, try to kill him with range damage, which is fair because I have the cannon that kill the Fury, who is going to be free. Last turn, so here is in combat. Here I just position Frost Mammoth, BSB and cannon to shoot at Sibaresh with 2 wounds left. Here I charge. I also tried to charge on a 9 in the flank, but I failed that one. In the magic phase, I was able to get break the spirit against the lemur, and then close combat, I will just kill them. Shooting, shot with the cannon, didn't hit. Shot with both bolt thrower, did nothing, and then the 4th shot was from the BSB, did 1 wound to him. So at least I get half point. And close combat, I killed that, and that's how we finished the game. So bloody game, very interesting, a lot of actions. It ended up being a 17-3 thanks to Spoil of War, which were in my favor, so that's nice. Yeah, I think to sum it up, the counter deployment was a good idea because I was able to pick my fights and to choose the outcome as well. I think my plan was to play for all 3 spoils, and that gave me a lot of backup plans because if you check early on, okay, I'm good on the left, and then, oh, I'm not so good anymore. Then I had some options on the right, and then the middle I had the Death Star. So I was able to play for all 3, and depending on the outcome of the rest, I was able to say, okay, on the right, we will see later on, let's go for the combat, kill the chariot, deal with this threat. And then, if I don't pick it, it's not the end of the world because I have the one in the middle. Bruiser needs to be careful in these kind of games because, yeah, Sentinel unit, that was a dicey outcome. We just check it out after the game to see how it can go. I think the outcome is totally unpredictable. I was happy I was able to manage the Myrmidon exactly like I wanted. Bait them, chaff them, combo charge them, so that was nice. Could have maybe avoided the Sentinel in the flank, like I said. Due to, I think the big mistakes here, to sum it up, these 2 sentences, the big mistake here was my use of Bind Scroll. If I would have used it on the random movement, nothing from the rest would have happened. So I think that was a huge mistake here. Yeah, regarding the list, I was really happy to have Cult Leader, which allow a bit more freedom for the Yetis and also for the other unit around, so that was really nice. And the Trapper were a very big help on the left because they cause some DT, sure, but also they chaff early on, allow me to be more aggressive and open the game on the left, so that was really nice from them. I was happy to have them in the list. So that was all, guys, from this game. Thanks a lot for watching Battle Report, and talk to you soon on my channel.